All right, welcome back to another episode of the Charting Life Podcast, where we try to take life on examined areas or aspects and explore them through meaningful conversations and always with a healthy dose of laughter. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. This is episode 30. I am celebrating that quite a bit, and the conversation is going to be less of me and a guest and more between me and you. So feel free to comment below or in any of the formats that you have, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, what have you. Comment, we can actually have more of a dialogue, but the idea of a conversation is something that you can be able to listen to this and have thoughts about it as well, whether you comment or not. Hopefully this changes you in some way or inspires you. So episode 30, I'm doing a bit of a celebration, excited about this. I'm going to do a bit of a review over some of the previous episodes, that sort of thing. And again, I'm trying something new. I'm not really a solo podcaster, but I am going to give it a shot and see how this goes. So let me know in the comments. As always, if you like or share this podcast, that's really helpful. If you share the podcast, I usually recommend that you send it to at least just one person who comes to your mind while you're listening. That's most likely going to happen at some point. So if you just share it to that one person, that would be very meaningful and helpful. And then comments really help with the algorithms, and a lot more people are able to see it. So comment at any point of anything that you have that comes to mind, that you've your own stories, your own answers to the questions, they're going to be brought up, that sort of thing. And that really helps. And I can be able to engage with you as well. So what I've learned doing this podcast, the big thing is just doing it. Honestly, just trying something. I am more of a analysis paralysis, if you like the rhyming terms or little pithy sayings. But I do tend to think and overthink and weigh all the options the best I can and never actually do it. And so I want to send a big thank you to my friend Aaron Benfield, who helped me get this podcast started and off the ground. The first, I think, 4 episodes, he helped get me started. He had his office in his basement, and we were able to shoot the first few audio episodes that way, and we had a lot of fun. And then he sort of just backed off and allowed this to be my thing. And I thought at first it was just busy, and then over time I realized, all right, thank you, Aaron. You did a great job in helping me just to get started. And think sometimes we need a push. For some people, you just have that internal motivation and you just go. Other people need a bit of a push. So if you have something in life where you're really wanting to do it, find somebody to help you get a push. Maybe you're introverted and you need that extroverted friend, something like that, or whatever your context determines. Just do something, or whatever it is that you have a desire for. If you can't have that internal motivation to do it yourself, try to find somebody who can help give you a hand up to get you started as you go along. So that's what happened for me in this podcast, and it's been an incredible journey. So again, the biggest lesson that I think I've learned is to just do the thing. And I've been having conversations with people. Some were my friends or people that I knew first off. About the first 10 episodes, I knew personally every single person. And it was incredible because they helped me to be able to carry on this podcast as well, especially as I changed it up a bit and started going into these conversational interviews, and which is the heart of what I want to be able to do and want this podcast to be. I want it to be a conversation, and I also want to leave behind a legacy, whether that is for my son. If God forbid anything happened to me, he has a whole library of episodes where he can be able to hear my voice, see my face, and be able to take the lessons that I have learned, the stories that I share, and also the stories that other people get to share and the lessons that they've learned. And so that's something that I want you to be able to share with as well, whether, again, I'm talking to my son or to my family members, but also to you, whoever you are who's listening or watching this. And you're already watching or listening if you've gotten this far. So just a heads up, I do have this on YouTube, and I also have it on Spotify and Amazon Music and all that, Apple Music, I think, as well. Any place you can get a podcast, pretty much, you can get the audio version, but the YouTube version, the video version is on YouTube. So I recommend giving that a listen as well. But I've also learned some incredible things. We started off in season 3 where I've talked about health. I've done that in season 4 as well, but one of the stories that really hit hard with me was with episode 11, Charting Health, I think is the title of it, with Jojo Tabarez. I've had her on for a couple of episodes, but she shared something that was really heartbreaking and very impactful. The story that she shared in summary was that there was a father who loved his family, put his family first in everything, and in doing so, he neglected his own health. And he thought that was a noble thing until one day he was trying to help his family do something, and he had a heart attack and died. And at that point, his children lost a father, his wife lost a husband, and they also lost everything that he was able to provide as well materially. So they lost this relationship and all the material things that come with it as well. But they lost this early because he did not take care of himself and prioritize his own health and longevity for his family. Some things happen where there's just incredible health things that happen or what have you, unforeseen sort of issues. But the kinds of things that you can prevent are the kinds of things that you need to be able to work on for those who count on you. And I've been trying to pick that up and trying to work on my health over the last year. One of the questions I asked, which we'll get into a little bit towards the middle of this episode or end of it, is that what is one thing you can work on over the next year to improve your life? And so I've been prioritizing health. And health is about more than just the numbers on the scale. It's about an overall thing. Maybe it's your mindset. It's the activity that you do. And so these are episodes that I've come up. There's actually one episode called Charting Scales where the numbers are kind of important, but they're not the only thing. And so I've been trying to be active. I have not been that great at losing the weight. I've been kind of fluctuating quite a bit, but I have been a lot more active. For me, I've been doing push-ups every day, and I can definitely tell a difference. It's not as active as I probably need to be, but it is starting somewhere. One of the things that's come up, that a quote that I love, is that 1% is infinitely more than 0%. Taking that first step, and then ideally you grow from 1% to 2 to 3 or 4 and so on. And in doing that, you become a better person, whether it's health, whether it's spiritual things, whether it is mental health, or working on projects, or being there for your family, whatever it may be that you want to improve upon. That is the kind of thing that you that incremental improvements make a huge deal over the long run. And if you never start, back to my main idea that I've learned just from doing the podcast, if you never start, you're never going to get there. And provided that you live long enough, 5 years from now, you're either going to be in the same place or you're going to be better, maybe by a little bit, maybe by a lot. And if you continue to improve on yourself, then you can be able to be, you do yourself a service. You're 1 year later, 2 year later, 5, 10 year later, self, you're doing an incredible service to that person when you're going to be alive at that point anyways. Again, God forbid anything should happen, that you continue to live and do well. You're going to be alive anyway, so you might as well serve that person, that version of you. So that's another thing, is health. I've talked about art and beauty and creativity. These sorts of things are integral to the person. C.S. Lewis talks about, I don't have the quote in front of me, but beauty itself is not just subjective. It's not just in the eye of the beholder, but beauty itself is objective. When we can look at something like a sunset. Maybe not everyone appreciates it, but we all understand that there's beauty to that. Whether you're in, a sunset over the mountains or over the beach, or, the birth of a child, or even it is mixture of beauty and heartbreaking as it is, but even the death of a saint, or the death of somebody who lived a good life. There is and especially when they greet those final moments with dignity and with a life well lived, there is a kind of beauty in there. So whether or not we all appreciate certain aspects of it, beauty itself is objective. And so I've got episodes with Rick Sorensen. That's episode 14. That's on art. Another one on creativity is with Jonathan Baker. That's episode 29, one of the most recent ones I've done. And then we've done other things in between. I've interviewed authors with their books, which has been incredible. Rick Sorensen is, again, one author. And then R.L. Akers is episode 28. That one is an incredible one as well. He wrote just a fantastic series, and I welcome anyone to go check that out. And you can find more details in the details section of episode 28. Find the links everywhere. And then on episode 14 as well with Rick, you can be able to find the details on that there. trying to think of some of the other ones. I have made some good friends. Dustin Wright has been on like 3 or 4 episodes. He is from on YouTube. They've got the Homestead Theologians, him and his friend Caleb, and they've also had their podcast is Raising the Wild Ones. And I've been on their podcast as a guest, and we were talking about doing some more collaborations, and so that's a really fun thing to do as well. But we talked about weird stuff, I mean, maybe the Bible stories that you've overlooked. We've talked about ways to, to study the Bible. Another one was with George Sisson. We talked about health. That was one with the numbers on the scale aren't necessarily the be-all, end-all of your health. But we also talked about our differences, and that episode did really well, where we're talking about our theological differences, and we can be able to have a good conversation. Again, I've talked to people from a number of different faith traditions. I'm not holding it out just for one in particular, or trying to go with my particular view, but I'm trying to have multiple conversations. I've had one with Catherine Cowell. She's an incredible lady as well that I've interviewed her. Had her on for a couple episodes, and with one of her, she's also an author, and we talked about finding your what was it? Because I'm trying to spitball here and kind of go off the top of my head, off the cuff. One of them we talked about charting femininity and what it means to be a good woman, and also we explored God as well, as whether there's just masculine or just feminine or side or whatever that might look like. And so we had that conversation. And so again, that's been fantastic. And we also talked about charting your calling with Nicole Henson. That was another great one. That was episode 20, I believe. And hopefully I'm not leaving too many people out. We had another one with health, which is episode 11, Bridget Tibaldi. That was a good one as well. So there's so many different types of episodes that we have. If this is your first video or audio that you're listening to, go check out any of those that look interesting or familiar to you. As cool as it would be to listen to all of them and go back and just check out everything, you can be able to check out any of them. And then episode 9 was one, is kind of heartbreaking at this point, very sad and beautiful at the same time. With my friend and church member Doug, he was the one with tomatoes. The episode's called Dancing Around Your Tomatoes, episode 9. And that one was great. He kind of got TikTok famous for a bit for growing his tomatoes. He has like 80-something-year-old heirloom tomatoes. And that one, it was a great episode in general. But and some of the audio is a little off because we actually recorded that one outside, so there might be a little wind or church bells going on at some point. But that one, he actually passed away recently. He was a beautiful, wonderful man who loved the Lord. He loved people. He was always with a smile on his face. And again, it's very unfortunate he passed away, but that was one of those situations where it was beautiful because he greeted his final moments with peace and dignity and with a life well lived. And it was a blessing to be able to go back and listen to that and to that episode, and for others to be able to go back and listen to it who knew him, to kind of relive some of the stories and hear his voice again. And probably one last one I'll mention is Charting Resilience, episode 10. That is with my friend Brandon. We talked about a number of things, but that was one where the main story and again, listen to the whole story. There's some incredible details in there, but the short of it is that he ended up getting shot in his foot with a shotgun, basically point blank range. And it's a miracle that he still has his foot today and is able to use it. But one of the things that really stood out to me there was he said that in that moment, it's as if God told him that you need to forgive this man right now, or you're never going to forgive him. You're going to harbor resentment against him for the rest of your life. And so he made that decision. He had the resilience to do so. So, and again, that's just a snippet of some of the episodes and the themes that we talked about, and there's so much more to come. I'm so excited about that. And if anyone is interested to have a conversation with me, to come on as a guest, chartinglifepodcast@gmail.com. If you enter in some information in the comments, find me on Facebook. I can be able to try to find you, but the best way is chartinglifepodcast@gmail.com. And if you have a great story to share, if you're just a nerd about something, that's super cool as well. You have a hobby that you can go on and on about for at least 30 minutes just to keep going about it. Or if you have something important, like a life lesson that you've learned, I would love to be able to talk with you and be able to share that with the world, or whoever, whatever part of the world is listening. So that's some of the things I've just learned as a whole. I'm also doing YouTube, lots of emphasis there. I'm doing a series of videos called In Context, where I try to take a single verse of the Bible and give you the breakdown or context in about a minute or less. I've been growing and doing that quite a bit. That's getting some traction. Lots of people are starting to engage with that, and I really appreciate it. And again, I'm just trying to, I recommend that nobody takes a single verse of the Bible and just read that as your daily verse, or take one verse of the Bible and make that your life verse, or have the Bible where it just inspires you, but that it moves you to action. And context is a big thing for me, because context determines meaning, whether we're looking at the Bible or we're looking at what somebody has to say, or a text message even, or whatever it is. Context determines meaning. And so that's a really big deal for me. And one of the areas of my my studies, my focus of studies, is learning biblical context. And so I go into that sort of thing, and I'm trying to post every day. That's one of my disciplines. That's maybe one of the ways I'm growing this year, is being disciplined where I can do something, anything, every single day. And so far, over the last month or so, I've been able to put at least one short on YouTube per day. It's not all been the In Context, but a lot of them have been. And again, I'm super excited about that. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. I'm trying to get, I'm trying to make this into something that is a blessing for as many people as possible. And I think it's fascinating with YouTube. My goal by the end of the year was 50 subscribers, and recently I've hit 70. So about 9 months early, I've surpassed my goal. So praise the Lord for that. I'm very thankful for that, and everyone who's subscribed. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, thank you very much. And if you're not, go over and check that out. You get all the shorts and extra stuff that I'll put out there, and be able to get more than just the audio podcast. And then if you are on YouTube, definitely comment. That really helps. I'll just kind of copy another content creator. If you like it, hit the thumbs up. And if you dislike it, hit the thumbs down twice. Again, I'm copying that from another content creator, but I think it's hilarious. What was I going to say? Again, this is doing the solo episode. I start to kind of get into my own thoughts a little bit and kind of get distracted some with the whole ADHD brain. Whether or not you believe in ADHD, my mind goes a little wandering. But yeah, if you comment on YouTube, especially on those shorts, it really boosts the algorithm. And again, I'm able to collaborate with you in content, or comment and go back and forth. And some of those have been really helpful. Some people have been very encouraging. Some have tried to be discouraging, and have tried to push back pretty hard. In which case, I still have been able to comment on there. But anyway, so definitely comment if you're on YouTube. But I'm going to go into something here in just a moment and give you a preview of some of the other episodes. What I like to do is, all of my first-time guests, I like to ask a series of questions. Call them my island questions, or my rapid-ish fire questions. And it's designed to get to know you a little bit more, to have some fun, and also scratch beneath the surface. I'm only going to show 3 of the questions that I asked. There's like 8 or 9. The first one that I generally ask, because I love the exploration theme. If you look behind me, you can see some books. I think you might be able to find a Percy Fawcett one, or you definitely see some Jules Verne, that sort of thing. But so I love exploration, which is a part of why I'm calling it charting life. We take the uncharted aspects of life, and we chart them. We chart the course so that others behind us can benefit and be benefited from it. So the first question I ask is, and again, I would love for you to comment below, whether you're on audio where you can be able to comment, or if you are on YouTube, definitely. I know you can comment on YouTube, and you can even tag the timing as well. That's so I can see that. But if let's say there's a new island that's discovered, and you are tasked with charting this island, learning all about it and making a map of it, that sort of thing. You can bring 5 people with you, real people, living or dead. Who are you bringing with you? Two caveats. One is somebody has to be a survivalist of some sort. It could be somebody you know, or it could be a celebrity or anything like that. Then the other is a storyteller. And so whoever that might be for you. And then 3 others. I know back in episode 2, I think, with my friend Aaron, we both answered some of these questions, but there's been fantastic answers. And I think very briefly I would mention the survivalist. I would put Percy Fawcett. He survived in everything except for his last encounter, but he went to the Amazon and he was fantastic kind of a person. For a storyteller, I'd probably take my grandpa. He's passed away, but he was a great storyteller. And so whether we're listening to stories or he's one to share the story at the end of the expedition, I think it would be a great one. Teddy Roosevelt, it would be another fantastic one. Person that I would bring, and from there I might pull in, if I pull in other authors, it might be Jules Verne, or probably Verne would be a good one as well. So and of course I would try to take my wife if she would want to go with it, and if not, who would be my last person? I would probably take someone from the Bible, maybe. Who would that be? Probably David. That's probably a good one. It'd be a lot to learn from him, and it'd be a good person to come along. And another question I would ask is, if you could have one crop to sustain you, what would that be? I've heard everything from flax to corn to coconuts to a lot of potatoes. A lot of references there. That's a good one. One of the other ones I ask is, what's the last thing that made you laugh till it hurt? Again, comment below with whatever your answers would be. But would be for here. When was the last time you laughed till it hurt? When was the last time you cried, or something that has moved you to tears? And another one that I've learned to ask too is, how do you find the best? How do you how did I say this? How do you discern the best path forward? Assuming, for example, you have two open doors in front of you, how would you decide which is the best path forward? And so that's a really good one too. But the three that I'm going to focus on, and I'll show. I'm going to ask the question, then I'm going to switch over and show you some of the answers from my guests, and then I'm going to switch back and answer, go for the couple different questions, and just kind of let my thoughts be known, let you know my thoughts on that. So the first one that I'm going to switch over and ask is, if you can improve one area of your life over the next year, what would that be?
I'm actually doing it right now. There's a book called LQ Solution that I'm going through with some of my fellow health coaches. And because I want to be a better leader for my clients and for the coaches on my team, and just in general, I want to be a better leader. And so that's something that I'm working. We just started last week.
Uh, in all honesty, probably if I had to really pick one, it'd be, I'd say physical health and eating better. And all, it's just because it's like me and my wife have kind of been having not really like health issues, but it's just like there's been some stuff happen that's like health issues in the family, and it's like, man, if I don't focus on that, then you know, it might happen in the future. So in all honesty, like you ask that question and it's like, cause like deep down, like for the next year, I'm trying to focus on it anyway. So it's like not necessarily like I'm gonna work out every day for 45 minutes, but more like, nah, try to work out a little bit, try to eat a little better, not going back for seconds. I really kind of like my seconds sometimes, and it's like, just trying to focus on more of the physical health and stuff like that. That would be my answer to that one.
Um, hmm. I guess I've had an idea for another book, but it's going to take me years to research it.
Yeah.
And that's a book about beauty.
Transforming a person.
Okay.
Transforming one person.
Okay. Absolutely. That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the last question is,
My physical health. I definitely need to get in better shape. Like that is the Lord is dealing with me on that. He took the sugar part away, but now I got to focus on eating cleaner.
yeah, I've been working on that as well. I had an episode a few episodes ago where somebody was talking about somebody shared a story where there was a husband who, he was a great husband, did all the things that you should do, take care of your family, but he didn't take care of himself. And there was a point where I think he ended up having a heart attack, I think is what it was, and passed away. And it was like, he took care of everything else but himself
Yeah.
and his physical health. And so the idea is like, we want to be healthy for the people who count on us too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a good point. And so for me, that's been a kind of a catalyst for, after that conversation, a catalyst for me that I need to make sure I'm in good health for my family. as well. So that's definitely a great thing to work on.
Honestly, been going through a lot of crazy things in my life. God has been so good, putting my pastor and great church family in my life. To be honest with you, health and fitness has still been there, but not to the extent where I would like it to be. So I would actually like to get back on to what I was doing a couple years prior, to really just dialing in, and really just becoming even more disciplined in that regard.
It is. It may sound cliche, but it's just pursuing my closest with Christ, man.
Yeah.
My friend, he fixed me, dude, because I was focusing on my behavior, and every time I failed, and I would
Mhm.
pummel myself, and how can I
Right.
redeem myself? How could I be back close with Christ if I just sinned like that? And he told me you got it backwards. Pursue Christ, pursue closeness with Christ, and the sin will start falling away. So that is really my
Yeah.
number one goal in life right now.
It's going to be physical health.
Mhm.
I've spent the last year or so going to the gym, eating better. I've lost about 35 pounds, and I want to
Nice.
keep that
Very
going.
good.
So that's probably where I'd focus.
Yeah. I've been doing that for the last little bit. I'm not quite as far as you are, but I have been getting some progress there, and I'm super happy about that, and starting to feel a little bit better too.
Yeah, I was happy with just seeing results. Like I kind of went to go itch my arm, and I'm like, oh, there's a muscle back there now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
I think I improve. I feel like just being authentic, especially about my faith, and especially like being authentic in my conversations with God and just being honest with him about certain situations, about how I feel about them.
Sure.
Sometimes I feel like, you go to God and you're like, I know you're in control of this, and I'm just gonna let you, like, I'm not the happiest. And sometimes you do want to get angry with God, and sometimes feel like God can hang God can handle your sadness and your anger. And I feel
Yes,
like
you can.
he allows
Yeah.
us to come to him with these emotions when we're upset.
Mm. Um, I have been working a lot this year on forgiveness. Um, Went to a retreat last August, and it just blew me away, the realization of the things that I thought I had let go, but were still there. When you think about a certain person and you start to get a little, um, that's evidence of unforgiveness, and it really kind of gets in the way of peace, of joy, of freedom. So that's kind of already been the thing I've been working on and working through, and sometimes realizing it's nothing to do with the other person in the first place. It's my own thing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't need to be processed. So
Right.
forgiveness and letting go of unforgiveness. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic and very well said. It's funny. There's a few things that's popped up, but that also is very similar to my story, and something that I've had to work with over the last year, roughly, is working on forgiveness. There was a situation came up. My wife just said, "Maybe you haven't actually forgiven this person," and it was somebody who definitely I had, I guess you could say, every right to harbor resentment for.
Sure.
But
Sure.
it was, I realized I had not yet forgiven them when I thought I had. But anyway, so I think that's really important. And I love the way that you worded that.
Oh, well, I already shared slowing down, being present. So where I'm really focusing on that is listening and understanding. My memory verse lately has been Proverbs 18:13. He who gives an answer before he listens, this is what was it? It's a disgrace, and I forget what it was. See, this is why it's a memory verse. I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah. It's not good though.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. It's saying, he who gives an answer without listening, this is a disgrace, or it's foolishness and a disgrace for him. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Depending on your translation. That's just kind of been where I'm at. I'm trying to slow down, stop interrupting people. Listening to people, not just the words they say, but the intentions behind. So if someone's upset with you, they're frustrated with you, not trying to engage with what they're saying, but it's okay. What's really going on here? What are they truly upset about? Because here's the thing: a lot of times when people are upset and they're coming at you, they're being rude or offensive or whatever. Half the time it's not even you, but we get defensive. And the reality of it is they're worried about someone in their family, or they're frustrated because financially they don't know how they're going to make ends meet or whatever, and it just kind of gets dumped out on you. So yeah, if I were going to improve one thing, listening, but then not just listening to the words, listening to understand. And all of that involves slowing myself down, and leaving space. So that's how I would do it.
And so those are really interesting answers, and a variety as well. So, improving one area, there's lots of people talk about health, some spiritual aspects as well. Again, this kind of inspired me to work on my health as well. Some people wanted to be better with their family and to be a more disciplined person. And so the more disciplined person is what I'm going to be working on as well over this next year. And so, again, one of the main avenues of that is being consistent with both the podcast and daily with the YouTube shorts. And so, again, those are some incredible questions. Which one do you resonate with the most? Again, comment. That really helps. And I get to know your thoughts as well. And that kind of even helps me kind of figure out the further directions I'm going to take with the podcast. The next question is, and I'll leave it open-ended on purpose, what does it mean to be good? And one of the ways that I try to submit that for people is think about, there's two ways. One is, what does it mean to live a good life? And the other, it's kind of along with this, but if at a funeral we see that someone's passed away and we say that here lies so-and-so, he or she was a good person, he was a good man or she was a good woman, what kind of thoughts or characteristics come to mind? So let's take a look at some of the answers from some of my guests.
I think more than anything, integrity, because doing good things could be different in different situations. Um, so it's honesty, integrity, those kinds of things. Dealing with people as best you can. Nobody's perfect. I mean, this side of heaven, we're all we all made mistakes, and but I think it's really the integrity and the honesty with which you approach people and things.
Oh, that's a fun one. That's a really fun one. Really, kind of on what does it mean to be good is trying trying just to focus on God and what He has for you, because goodness may look different in different people, and not like one person can commit a crime but the other one can't. No, not like that. But it's like goodness for this person may be, giving some money and helping this person over here. But goodness for this person who doesn't maybe have the finances is baking that loaf of bread and helping their neighbor. It's like to be good, it's to maybe look for the needs around you and kind of seek God and how to fulfill them. Because we live in a very financial culture. We do. It's money's everywhere. It's buying this and advertising wants your money. But it's like if you can bake bread, then you can help somebody who's hungry. If you can, sew, then you can clothe somebody who needs it. If you've got water, then you can give somebody a drink who's thirsty. And it's like it's maybe just kind of seeking those ideas. Okay, God, is there somebody immediately around me, whether in my neighborhood, in my house, or that needs this, and how can I fulfill that need in their life? So I guess that one answers that question.
Well, if we go back to my definition, where the idea and the way it's expressed come together in this harmony, if you think about that more along the lines of how we are as human beings, the way we live life is our expression of what God has been teaching us. And so it's not only just having this head knowledge, but now we got to live it out.
Right.
And so the way it's expressed has to come together with that meaning in this harmonious symphonic interplay.
And so I guess what it would mean to be good is actually living within that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I think it all comes down to love in the end, and to be prepared to put love for people above other considerations. That's not about kind of being completely a doormat, but I think good people are people of integrity and authenticity and wisdom who are guided by love.
I would replace I would say, what does it mean to be Christ-like? Because
Okay.
that's my goal. I don't make it, of course, every day or all the time, but my goal is to be Christ-like. And if I'm living a good life, I'm more Christ-like.
This is gonna sound really cliche, but you gotta be in Christ.
Yeah.
You know, R.C. Sproul once was asked the question, you know, why do bad things happen to good people? And his response was, man, that's only happened once, and he volunteered.
Yep.
And so I know it's cliche, but like, oh, don't people like listen? If you are in Christ, you are good because of him. And I can't remember who said it, but the only thing that you bring to your salvation is the sin that made it necessary. So what is good? Bible defines good. Good is in Christ. Good is righteousness and holiness. God be in Christ.
Well, I think that I think a lot of people probably have different ideas about what being good is, but you could say a lot of things, being righteous, having pure intentions, but I think the number one thing is integrity. I mean, integrity, whether you believe in God or not, if you are doing right, you're doing good, being kind, being generous, being thoughtful, being considerate, and you're doing it when no one's looking or there's no way to get a reward, I think that's pretty darn good.
I mean, you can go into a whole conversation about objective morality, but I think living a godly life, following the commands that Jesus laid out for us, that will keep you on the good path. I think outside of that, it's being a decent human being, loving the neighbor. That's what it boils down to.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
sometimes
I guess that's all I got for that.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I love the variety of answers I get from all of this. As far as being a decent human being, there are some times in some places where that'll make you really stand out too.
Yeah. Well, and I take it back to the gospel. Sharing the gospel isn't always speaking about it. It's sometimes just, I call it gospel in action. It's doing the thing that the gospel tells you to do until somebody notices and goes, "Hey, how do you do that?" And then you have an opportunity to be like, "Well, let me tell you about it. Get my boy Jesus."
Yeah, tell you about Jesus, my boy.
Someone who cares, and even when we do mess up, we are still trying our best to be kind and to be good, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say it's to recognize just how flawed we actually are, and not just how flawed and broken other people are, but how flawed and broken I am, and try to give other people the grace that I want. And of course, seek help from God to be better than I can be on my own. But it's not very good to think higher of yourself or more of yourself than you actually deserve.
It's to live in alignment with what God has decreed. Who decides what's good? It's God. But then also for your walk to match your talk. And as someone with ADHD who will often say, "Yeah, I'm going to do that," and then you forget about it because it's not directly in front of you. That has been probably one of the things that I beat myself up the most for, because it's not that I didn't do the thing, but it's that I didn't do what I said I would do. And so for me, being a good person is a person that you can count on, being a person of integrity, someone whose walk matches their talk. And so, yeah, so I guess that would be that would be my definition of a good person. Someone who is a person of integrity and who you can count on.
And again, we got a variety of answers. Integrity is one of the big ones. There was a funeral that I preached when, kind of in the earlier days of doing this podcast, especially once I started interviewing people that I did not actually know. And I was able to take some of these answers that I definitely agreed with and was able to funnel that into the funeral and be able to integrate that a bit, and acknowledging that the lady who passed away, she had lived a good life, and that she followed what it meant to be good. And again, I'm just curious what your thoughts are. What do you think it means to be good? And however you want to answer that. Again, I have it open-ended. Sometimes people will want to go on and say, well, nobody's good, and that's fair. But in whatever your own interpretation of that term, what does it mean to be good? It does mean something. And so what does that mean to you? And then the last question, and I'll be wrapping up shortly after this next video switch over, whatever you want to call the term. If we're going back to the island, if something, God forbid, were to happen to you, what would be your final advice to your family? Of course, you would say the I love you, the goodbye, that sort of thing. But what's your final life advice?
Really, I mean, the last bit of advice I would give my family, mainly my kids, because I'm pretty sure my wife would draw straws and she would be dying with me.
Yeah.
As the boat's going down, the whole classic like Titanic moment, right? But probably my last advice, especially for my kids, would be never stop looking for God. You know, I know I try to tell my kids all the time, it's like, you see that tree over there? You know, God's in that tree. You know, you see that dirt right there? How long do you think it took that rock to grind its way down to that dirt? God did that. You know, and it's like, man, you see what man did. You see this road that went through here. Man, that looks like a nice road, right? It's a big road. But it's like, look at what God did all the way around this road. And it's like, I would say, like, never stop just looking for God in the little and mundane things. You know, whether it's, just like sitting here talking to you and just, talking and seeing how it's awesome. In all honesty, it's awesome, like hearing your takes and stuff on stuff. And it's like seeing how you're focusing on God as well. It's like, never stop just looking in the little bit for what God is doing and his blessings, that may just be the blessing of, getting to see a friend today, or however that looks, but just never stop looking for God in life in general. All right, man, I got real philosophical on that one.
Hey, that's all right. I mean, for this show, I like to have, all the fun things, the spiritual stuff, and branching into philosophy and travel. I mean, this is all part of life. We're multifaceted individuals,
Yeah.
and but yeah, I do kind of like that, and it kind of helps. It kind of the easier said than done, but the kind of like final. If we ever think about the final advice we would give to family, that also should hopefully kind of inspire us to make sure that we live in that manner
Yeah.
too, and express that through our examples as well. So
I think it would be that God loves you and that he wants you with him.
I guess be open to the opportunity God gives you.
Love Jesus.
amen.
Love Jesus. Serve him.
Love and serve Jesus. Absolutely.
I would want to say you are incredible and unique. You are valuable as you are already. Already who you are is great. So enjoy being you, and trust your instincts. Most of the time, you're probably right.
Make sure you meet me in heaven.
Yeah. Very good.
I would give advice to my two children. To my son, I would say be better than me, be stronger than me, be more gracious than me, and love better than me. Be better than me than in every way. I want you to be better than me in every way. I think the greatest accomplishment for any father is for their son to grow up and just be better than them. And for my daughter, I would say find a man who will love you and cherish you, who will lead you well, and know that daddy tried to show you what kind of man that you should be looking for.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things, I mean, and it's almost difficult to. When I read this question earlier, I go, man, wow, you got one thing, because you got to remember, my sons are all young. My oldest son is 8 years old, so there's so much there that I want to
Yeah.
tell them and talk to them about. Luckily, they have about 500 episodes of Creating Greatness. They could just scroll back through and learn anything about their dad. But I would say you are worthy, you are enough, and you are capable of absolutely anything in this world if you put your mind to it. And always keep your thoughts on God.
That's a tough one. I think I can boil it down to 3 words: trust in God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine giving any other advice that would be long-term relevant. Brush your teeth.
Trust in God and brush your teeth. I like it. And it's interesting because that idea, the advice gives you a bit of a compass for, if you pass something on, and this is the only little bit of information that you get, what is your guideline in life? And if you're trusting in God, then you're set. I mean, you can weather the storms, and if you're brushing your teeth, the less bad problems.
I feel like I tell them to to continue living. Like, I wouldn't want them to, live the rest of their life in sorrow because I'm gone. Just continue living and to continue following Christ.
Live for more than yourself. I mean, you can unpack that a lot in a lot of different ways, in a lot of detailed ways, but there is no joy and there's no freedom in living for yourself. That's a lie. Live for more than yourself.
Advice you want to leave?
Well, since I'm dying on this island, I'd probably include the last bit of Habakkuk's prayer from chapter 3.
Okay.
It talks about though the fig tree does not bloom, there's no crops in the field, there's no herds in the pastures. It talks about all the things, though all of those things fail. It says, "Yet I will rejoice in the Lord, the God of my salvation. He makes my feet like the deer's. He enables me to walk upon the heights." So I think I would close with that thought. Hey, though I died on this island, and though things didn't plan out the way I really wanted them to, yet I will rejoice in the Lord of my salvation. So that would be my closing. So I guess that's Habakkuk 3:17 through 19. That's kind of the last part of that book.
Right. And so that is it's a really heartfelt and tough question. Some of the guests elaborated more, some went straight to the point. All of that's great. But one of the benefits of asking that question is assuming that we're going to continue to live for at least a little while longer. The final advice that you give to somebody, that you would want to give to somebody, is probably the way that you need to continue to live, or the way that you need to adapt yourself to live. If you're leaving behind advice for your children, maybe you should model that behavior or those attitudes to your children. If it's to your spouse, maybe you should treat your spouse in that way, or to your family, whatever that might be. Let that change the way that you think, that you feel, and the way that you act towards others, and the way that you treat yourself too. Whatever that may be, that's a really good window into the way that you should be able to act, to think, and to feel. And so my final thoughts, again, if you stuck around with it this long, thank you for listening. Just the brief little, housekeeping stuff. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, share, all of that sort of thing. But we're going to continue this podcast for as long as I can. I hope you're along for the ride. You stay along for the ride. You bring others in on this journey. But chart the course of your life. Draw out the maps. Take the adventure. And just do it. Bring people along on your ride. Help them and encourage them in their journey. And allow people to encourage you in your journey. Invite people in so that you can be able to live the good life. And as a Christian, I would be remiss if I did not implore you to consider Jesus. Prayer is like an invitation. You invite Jesus into your life, into your situation, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is, invite Jesus into it. And if you are not really, you don't consider yourself a person of faith, whatever that may look like, or you might consider yourself a person of another faith, I would still encourage you to invite Jesus in, because if he's not real, then nothing's going to happen. But if he is real, and if he is the truth, then you are inviting the God of the universe, who died for you and who loves you to death and to life again. You are inviting this God who knows you, who created you and loves you, into your life and into the situations that you are dealing with. And that is just an incredible thing. So again, invite people along your journey. Don't live it alone. No man is an island. No man can live on an island by themselves for so long. You're eventually going to wear out and die, whether it's your soul or otherwise, if you try to do everything alone. So invite people along for the journey. Go along the journey with other people. If you need someone to encourage you, bring on that kind of person. Bring on the good kind of people who's going to actually uplift and benefit you, and allow you to enjoy life and be that kind of person for others. And then lastly, invite Jesus Christ into your life, into your situation, because he is the one who will ultimately bring you to the places that you need to go. And as you invite Jesus into your life and into your situations, the good, the bad, and the ugly, don't neglect to bring other people in on that as well. So that is just some very quick advice that I would give, the heart of what I'm doing. And then again, I hope that you're along for the ride, and join us as we continue on. Again, last thoughts is that, or the last, maybe perhaps last comment, I promise, I think I promise. But the last comment would be, if you want to be a guest on the show, on the Charting Life podcast, reach out to me. You can leave comments. You can go to Facebook and leave a message. But the best way is go to chartinglifepodcast@gmail.com. And charting, I assume everyone knows how to spell it, but but in case my pronunciation is a little off, or I've got too big of an accent for you, CHARTINGLIFE podcast, singular podcast, PODCAST, @gmail.com. And even if you want to reach out about anything, whether it's not being a guest, but you want to communicate with me, that's a great way to do that as well. So thank you. I'm signing off on episode 30, and we'll see you in the next one.